Today you'll learn about the story of Marcus Chen, a tech billionaire whose arrogance led him to clash with one of America's most respected guardians, in a confrontation that would expose secrets capable of destroying his empire. Get ready for a narrative full of tension and unexpected revelations. Before we begin this incredible story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're listening to this story from. The morning mist hung heavy over Arlington National Cemetery as Staff Sergeant David Rodriguez began his shift at the tomb of the unknown soldier. 28 steps north, 21-second pause, 28 steps south, 21-second pause. For 3 years, this sacred rhythm had defined his existence, each movement a tribute to the fallen heroes who lay beneath the white marble. Rodriguez had earned this honor through unwavering dedication and an impeccable military record. Born in San Antonio, Texas, to a family of veterans, he understood the weight of tradition that rested on his shoulders. His grandfather had served in Vietnam, his father in Desert Storm, and now David carried their legacy forward in this most solemn of duties. The October air was crisp, and the autumn leaves created a carpet of gold and crimson around the memorial. Tourists gathered behind the chains, their voices hushed in reverence. Children pointed in wonder at the sentinel's precise movements, while veterans stood with hands over hearts, remembering their own service. At exactly 10:15 a.m., a black Tesla Model S pulled up to the restricted area near the memorial. The vehicle's arrival immediately caught Rodriguez's attention, though his disciplined training kept his pace unchanged. From behind his dark sunglasses, he observed as a man in an expensive charcoal suit emerged from the driver's seat. Marcus Chen, CEO of Nextech Industries, stepped onto the hallowed ground with the confidence of someone accustomed to having the world bend to his will. At 38, he had built a technology empire worth $47 billion, revolutionizing artificial intelligence and quantum computing. His company's government contracts made him one of the most influential figures in Silicon Valley, with direct access to Pentagon officials and classified defense projects. Chen's presence at Arlington wasn't coincidental. He was scheduled to meet with Defense Secretary Patricia Williams in 2 hours to discuss Nextech's latest military AI contract, worth $800 million. But first, he had decided to make an impromptu visit to the tomb, partly out of curiosity and partly to kill time before his crucial meeting. As Chen approached the memorial, his phone buzzed with notifications from his assistant, stock alerts, and messages from board members. Without thinking, he answered a call, his voice echoing across the sacred space. Marcus Chen speaking. No. Tell the Beijing office that the quantum encryption protocols are non-negotiable. I don't care what time it is there. Rodriguez felt his jaw tighten beneath his stoic expression. The cemetery's rules were absolute. No phones, no loud conversations, no disruptions of any kind. Visitors were expected to maintain the same reverence they would show in a church or temple. Chen continued his phone conversation, oblivious to the growing tension around him. Other visitors began to shift uncomfortably, some pointing at the billionaire with disapproving looks. An elderly veteran wearing a Purple Heart pin approached Chen, gently tapping his shoulder. "Excuse me, sir, but phones aren't permitted here. This is a sacred place," the veteran said quietly, his voice carrying the weight of experience and respect. Chen glanced at the man dismissively, covering his phone's microphone. "I'm in the middle of an important business call. This will just take a minute." He turned away, continuing his conversation about quarterly projections and market expansions. Rodriguez had witnessed many breaches of protocol during his tenure, but this level of disrespect was unprecedented. The tomb guard's authority extended beyond ceremonial duties. They were empowered to enforce the sacred rules that protected this hallowed ground. After completing his measured turn at the southern end of his route, Rodriguez made a decision that would change both their lives forever. Instead of continuing his silent vigil, he broke from the traditional pattern and approached Chen directly. "Sir," Rodriguez's voice cut through the morning air with military precision, "I need you to end your phone call immediately and show proper respect for this memorial." Chen looked up, annoyed by the interruption. He saw a young soldier in an immaculate uniform, white gloves and polished shoes that reflected the morning sun. To Chen, this was just another obstacle to his busy schedule. "Listen, soldier boy. I'm Marcus Chen, CEO of Nextech Industries. I have contracts with your bosses worth more money than you'll see in 10 lifetimes. I'll finish my call when I'm ready." The words hung in the air like a challenge. Rodriguez felt the eyes of every visitor upon them, including several active-duty military personnel who had come to pay their respects. The billionaire's arrogance had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. "Sir, I don't care if you're the president himself. This is the tomb of the unknown soldier, and you will show respect or you will leave. Immediately." Chen's face flushed with anger. He was accustomed to deference, to people scrambling to accommodate his every whim. The idea that this young sergeant would dare challenge him was incomprehensible. "Do you know who you're talking to? I could have you transferred to some godforsaken base in Alaska with one phone call. My company provides the AI systems that keep this country safe. Without Nextech, your precious military would be fighting with sticks and stones." Rodriguez stepped closer, his voice dropping to a level that only Chen could hear. "Sir, you have 10 seconds to end that call and leave this area, or I will have you removed by security. The choice is yours." Chen's eyes narrowed. He had built his empire by never backing down, by crushing anyone who dared oppose him. This uniform nobody was about to learn what happened to people who got in Marcus Chen's way. "You want to play hardball, Sergeant? Fine. But you have no idea what you're dealing with. I know things about this military that would make your head spin. Classified things, things that could end careers and destroy lives." The threat was clear, but Rodriguez had sworn an oath that transcended personal consequences. His duty was to protect the sanctity of this place, regardless of who challenged it. "Security to the tomb of the unknown soldier. Code 7 situation," Rodriguez spoke into his radio, never breaking eye contact with Chen. Within minutes, 2 Arlington National Cemetery police officers arrived, their presence drawing even more attention from the growing crowd of onlookers. Chen realized that his position was becoming untenable, but his pride wouldn't allow him to simply walk away. "This isn't over, Sergeant. You've made a very powerful enemy today. I hope you're prepared for the consequences." As Chen was escorted away from the memorial, Rodriguez resumed his post, his movements as precise as ever. But beneath his disciplined exterior, something had changed. The billionaire's threats echoed in his mind, particularly the mention of classified information. That evening, Rodriguez sat in his small apartment in Alexandria, Virginia, still processing the day's events. The confrontation with Chen had been reported through proper channels, but something about the billionaire's threats nagged at him. The mention of classified information wasn't just bluster. There had been something specific in Chen's tone, a confidence that suggested he possessed dangerous knowledge. Rodriguez had friends throughout the military intelligence community, relationships built during his previous assignment with the Army's Criminal Investigation Division. Before becoming a tomb guard, he had spent 2 years investigating security breaches and unauthorized disclosures of classified material. His phone rang at 9:30 p.m. The caller ID showed Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Mitchell, his former commanding officer and current head of military cybersecurity at the Pentagon. "David, I heard about what happened today at Arlington. Word travels fast around here, especially when it involves someone like Marcus Chen. Ma'am, I was just doing my job. The man showed complete disrespect for the memorial. I know, and you handled it correctly, but there's something you should know. Chen's been on our radar for months. We've had concerns about his company's handling of classified contracts, but we've never had enough evidence to act." Rodriguez felt a chill run down his spine. "What kind of concerns, ma'am?" "The kind I can't discuss over an unsecured line. But David, if Chen threatened you today, if he mentioned having classified information, we need to take that seriously. Can you meet me tomorrow morning? There's something I need to show you." The next morning, Rodriguez found himself in a secure conference room deep within the Pentagon. Lieutenant Colonel Mitchell sat across from him, along with Agent Rebecca Torres from the Defense Criminal Investigative Service. "What I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest levels," Mitchell began. "For the past 6 months, we've been investigating potential security breaches related to Nextech Industries. Chen's company has access to some of our most sensitive AI and quantum computing projects." Agent Torres opened a thick file folder. 3 months ago, we detected unusual data transfers from Nextech's secure servers. Someone was copying classified algorithms and sending them to offshore accounts. The transfers were sophisticated, designed to look like routine system backups. "We've been trying to identify the source," Mitchell continued, "but Chen's company has layers of security and legal protection. We needed someone on the inside, or we needed Chen to make a mistake." Rodriguez studied the documents spread across the table. Financial records, communication logs, and technical reports painted a picture of systematic espionage. How you think Chen is selling classified information? We think Chen is running the most sophisticated intelligence operation we've ever encountered, Torres replied. His company legitimately develops technology for the military, but they're also copying everything and selling it to the highest bidder: China, Russia, North Korea, anyone willing to pay. The implications were staggering. Nextech had contracts worth billions of dollars, access to cutting-edge military technology, and the trust of the highest levels of government. If Chen was indeed a traitor, the damage to national security could be catastrophic. "Why are you telling me this?" Rodriguez asked. Mitchell leaned forward. "Because yesterday Chen made a threat that could be his downfall. He told you he knew classified things that could destroy careers. We think he was referring to specific information he's stolen. If we can prove he possesses classified material without authorization, we can move against him. But we need evidence," Torres added. "Something concrete that ties Chen directly to the theft. Your confrontation with him might have rattled his cage enough to make him careless." Rodriguez thought about Chen's arrogance, his absolute confidence that he was untouchable. "What do you need me to do?" "Chen's scheduled to attend a military technology conference at the Marriott in Arlington tomorrow night. High-level defense contractors, Pentagon officials, the works. We have reason to believe he's planning to make a deal there, possibly transferring stolen technology to foreign agents." Mitchell slid a small device across the table. "This is a recording device, military-grade, undetectable by standard security sweeps. If you can get close enough to Chen, if you can get him talking about classified information, we might have enough to bring him down." "You want me to go undercover at a defense contractor conference?" "You'll be there as my guest," Torres explained. "Your background in military intelligence gives you credibility. Chen doesn't know about your previous assignment with CID. To him, you're just the soldier who embarrassed him at Arlington." Rodriguez picked up the recording device, feeling its weight in his palm. It was smaller than a coin, designed to be hidden in clothing or accessories. "If Chen is as dangerous as you say, won't this put me at risk?" "There will be federal agents throughout the venue," Mitchell assured him. "You won't be alone. But David, I need you to understand the stakes here. If Chen is selling our military secrets, American lives are at risk. Soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, they're all depending on technology that our enemies might already possess." The room fell silent as Rodriguez contemplated the mission. He thought about his oath as a soldier, his duty to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Marcus Chen might wear expensive suits and command a corporate empire, but if he was betraying his country, he was no different from any other enemy combatant. "I'll do it," Rodriguez said finally, "but I want to know everything about Chen's operation. If I'm going to take him down, I need to understand exactly what we're dealing with." The Marriott's grand ballroom buzzed with the quiet intensity of America's defense establishment. Military officers in dress uniforms mingled with corporate executives in tailored suits, their conversations a careful dance of classified hints and unspoken agreements. Rodriguez, wearing his dress blues with ribbons and decorations, felt the weight of the hidden recording device sewn into his jacket's inner pocket. Agent Torres had briefed him extensively on Chen's known associates and potential foreign contacts. The billionaire was expected to arrive at 8 p.m., fashionably late as always, making his entrance when the crowd was at its peak. Rodriguez positioned himself near the bar, nursing a club soda and scanning the room for familiar faces. Lieutenant Colonel Mitchell moved through the crowd like a seasoned diplomat, her presence providing him with both cover and confidence. At 8:15, Marcus Chen made his entrance. He wore a midnight blue tuxedo that probably cost more than Rodriguez's annual salary, and he moved through the crowd with the practiced ease of someone accustomed to being the center of attention. Defense contractors and Pentagon officials gravitated toward him, eager to discuss potential partnerships and lucrative contracts. Rodriguez watched as Chen worked the room, his charm and charisma on full display. This was a different man from the arrogant billionaire who had disrespected Arlington Cemetery. Here, Chen was in his element, wielding influence and power with surgical precision. "Sergeant Rodriguez, isn't it?" Rodriguez turned to find Chen standing beside him, a predatory smile playing across his lips. The billionaire had approached so quietly that Rodriguez hadn't noticed his movement. "Mr. Chen, I'm surprised you remember me." "Oh, I remember everything about our encounter yesterday. You cost me a very important meeting with the Defense Secretary, but I'm not one to hold grudges, especially against someone just doing their job." Chen's tone was friendly, almost apologetic, but Rodriguez could see the calculation behind his eyes. The billionaire was studying him, trying to determine if he posed any ongoing threat. "I hope there are no hard feelings," Rodriguez replied carefully. "The rules at Arlington apply to everyone, regardless of position." Of course. Duty above all else, right? I actually admire that quality in a soldier. It's rare to find people with such unwavering principles these days. Chen signaled the bartender for a whiskey, his movements casual but deliberate. "Tell me, Sergeant, what do you know about modern warfare? The real challenges facing our military in the 21st century?" Rodriguez felt his pulse quicken. This was exactly the kind of conversation Torres had hoped for. "I know that technology is changing everything. The soldiers who serve today face threats our grandfathers never imagined." "Exactly." Chen's enthusiasm seemed genuine. "Cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, these are the new battlefields, and the side with the best technology wins. That's why companies like mine are so crucial to national security. Your company develops AI systems for the military, doesn't it?" Chen's smile widened. "Among other things, we're working on projects that would blow your mind, Sergeant. Autonomous weapons systems, predictive battle algorithms, quantum encryption protocols that are theoretically unbreakable." Rodriguez leaned closer, feigning interest. "That sounds incredibly advanced. Must be highly classified work." "The most classified," Chen confirmed, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "I have access to information that could reshape global power structures, military secrets that foreign governments would pay billions to obtain." The admission hung in the air between them. Rodriguez felt the recording device capturing every word, building the case that would ultimately destroy Chen's empire. "That must be a tremendous responsibility," Rodriguez said, "knowing such sensitive information." Chen laughed, a sound devoid of humor. "Responsibility is for people who can't see the bigger picture. Information is power, Sergeant, and power is meant to be used. The question isn't whether you have access to secrets, it's what you do with them." Before Rodriguez could respond, a tall man with Asian features approached their conversation. Chen's demeanor immediately shifted, becoming more guarded and professional. "Sergeant Rodriguez, I'd like you to meet Dr. Kim Zhao, a technology consultant from Singapore." "Dr. Zhao, this is the soldier I was telling you about, the one with such rigid principles." Dr. Zhao extended his hand with a slight bow. "A pleasure to meet you, Sergeant. Mr. Chen speaks very highly of your dedication to duty." Rodriguez shook the man's hand, noting the calluses that suggested military training despite his civilian appearance. Torres had warned him about potential foreign agents at the conference, and Dr. Zhao fit the profile perfectly. "Dr. Zhao and I have been discussing some fascinating technological developments," Chen continued. "Theoretical applications of quantum computing in military communications. Purely academic, of course." The lie was so smooth that Rodriguez almost believed it himself. But the recording device continued its silent work, capturing evidence of what appeared to be a planned transfer of classified information. "I should let you gentlemen continue your discussion," Rodriguez said, preparing to withdraw. "It was interesting meeting you both." "Actually, Sergeant," Chen said, his hand touching Rodriguez's arm, "why don't you join us for a few minutes? I think you'd find our conversation educational." Rodriguez hesitated, recognizing the opportunity but also sensing the danger. Chen's invitation wasn't casual, it was a test. "I wouldn't want to intrude on a private conversation," Rodriguez replied diplomatically. "Nonsense," Chen insisted. "Dr. Zhao and I were discussing theoretical vulnerabilities in military encryption systems. Your perspective would be valuable." Dr. Zhao nodded, his eyes cold and calculating. "Perhaps you could help us understand how such systems are implemented in the field." The question was a trap, but it also presented an opportunity to draw more incriminating statements from Chen. "I'm afraid most of my experience is classified," Rodriguez said carefully. Chen's smile became predatory. "What if I told you that the encryption systems our military relies on aren't as secure as they believe? What if certain vulnerabilities could be exploited?" "That would be concerning," Rodriguez replied, his heart racing as the recording device captured Chen's treasonous statements. Chen leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "The quantum encryption protocols that Nextech developed for the Pentagon have a backdoor, a way to decrypt any message, access any system. The military doesn't know it exists." Rodriguez felt his blood run cold. Chen had just confessed to embedding espionage tools in critical military infrastructure. "Why would you build such a backdoor?" Rodriguez asked. "Insurance," Chen replied simply. "Information is the ultimate currency, and I've made sure I have access to the Federal Reserve." Dr. Zhao checked his watch. "Perhaps we should continue this discussion upstairs. I have a suite where we could speak more freely." Rodriguez realized he was at a crossroads. "I appreciate the invitation, but I should return to my duties." Chen's expression hardened. "Of course. But Sergeant, I hope you understand the sensitivity of our conversation. Some topics are best kept between gentlemen." The threat was clear, but Rodriguez had what he needed. 20 minutes later, Rodriguez met Lieutenant Colonel Mitchell in the parking garage. Agent Torres was waiting with her laptop. "Did you get it?" Mitchell asked urgently. Rodriguez removed the recording device. "Everything." Chen admitted to embedding backdoors in military systems. "We have him." Within an hour, Marcus Chen and Dr. Zhao were in federal custody, their conspiracy exposed by the soldier Chen had tried to intimidate. The investigation revealed Chen had been stealing classified technology for 2 years, selling secrets to foreign governments. 6 months later, he was sentenced to life in prison for treason. His empire crumbled overnight. Rodriguez returned to Arlington Cemetery, continuing his sacred vigil. The rhythm remained unchanged, but he carried the knowledge that he had helped protect the freedoms those unknown soldiers died defending.